Emancipation Day signifies the day enslaved Africans gained their freedom. 180 years later, Guyanese across the country celebrate the struggle our ancestors fought, armed with nothing but strength, boldness, and faith. Leading up to emancipation, there were a number of activities held to observe this important day.
Roundabouts. Approaching a roundabout. When you approach a roundabout, you must use your indicator if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn at the roundabout. You must give other road users sufficient notice of your intent to turn. Entering a roundabout. When entering a roundabout, you must slow or stop to give way to any vehicle already in the roundabout. You must also continue to use your indicators if you intend to turn left or right or make a U-turn. Turning left. When turning left, you must indicate left on approach and be travelling in the left-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Stay in the left lane and exit in the left lane. Turning right. When turning right, you must indicate right on approach and be travelling in the right-hand lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Making a U-turn. When using a roundabout to make a U-turn, you must approach in the right lane and signal right. Changing lanes in a roundabout. Drivers may change lanes in a roundabout if they wish. The usual road rules for changing lanes apply. You must use your indicator and give way to any vehicle in the lane you are entering. Going straight ahead. You don't need to signal when approaching the roundabout if you are going straight ahead. You may approach the roundabout from either the left or right lane unless there are road markings with other instructions. Exiting a roundabout. As when you exit a road, you must signal left when leaving a roundabout, if it is practical to do so, and you should stop indicating as soon as you have exited the roundabout. However, when you are travelling straight ahead on a small single-lane roundabout, it may be impractical to indicate when exiting.
After fully gaining their freedom on August 1, 1838, the once enslaved Africans bought lands and established villages along the coast. In doing so, they established a number of small businesses to maintain their families. Recognizing the importance of entrepreneurship, the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana, the Small Business Bureau, and the African Cultural and Development Association, ACDA, organized a business conference. ACDA's executive, Eric Phillips, called on Afro-Guyanese to understand that they can achieve anything they put their minds to.
Marcus Garvey, who was our Black Messiah, gave us a vision of self-determination. His message was of entrepreneurship, cultural self-expression, spiritual and economic independence, and community-based development. His message was, up, 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 you mighty race. And we need to remember that, because oftentimes in Guyana, we shrink. We allow people to tell us that we're not business people. But we are indeed the world's first business people. And if you were to go to Africa today, and I lived there for 7.5 years, you'll see a lot of successful African businesses. So do not listen to people who tell you you cannot succeed.
Phillips urged Afro-Guyanese to work together not just to create economical wealth, but generational wealth.
Entrepreneurism is in our DNA. It's in a side of us. And this is what Vincent and this group here today is about. We're here to say to you, take full access of all the resources here. Build your businesses. Build it communally. Work together. Because entrepreneurism is in our genes, it's in our DNA, and we need to reclaim this legacy.
IDPADAG Chairman Vincent Alexander noted the sharing of knowledge is critical to the development of a people. Alexander said Afro-Guyanese continues to be at a disadvantage in the area of business due to the lack of knowledge.
And we have got to repair that. We have got to fix that during this decade. We are hoping that today's activity is a small step in that direction. a small step through knowledge sharing. Without knowledge, nothing else will happen successfully. And so what we have done today is to bring you together to share with you the knowledge of what are essential requirements if you're going to be engaged in business.
At the end of the formal opening of the conference, participants were given the opportunity to interact with key organizations who play a critical role in the business world. These organizations were the Guyana Revenue Authority, Go Invest Guyana, Credit Info, Small Business Bureau, the National Insurance Scheme, and others.
Small businesses and young entrepreneurs were also given the opportunity to showcase their businesses. This was facilitated by the Guyana Marketing Corporation through the Guyana Shop at its 5th Emancipation Exhilaration event held at the Stabroek Market Square.
18-year-old Shania Evans of the Pomeroon is one of the many exhibitors who were afforded the opportunity to showcase her line of virgin coconut oil. She said the event allowed her to gain knowledge on how to better her products.
I'm still young, so people like older folks will come up to me and tell me their experience with the product, like what the product has did for them, and they will like some of them will have like questions that need to be answered, and some of them will like educate me more on my product that I'm still learning.
John Luke, director of Luke's Manufacturer, produces a number of products ranging from pepper sauce, honey, and tonics. Luke's venture also provides jobs for young people.
These stuff here that combined today is for creating jobs. Right? And the main idea for getting this stuff out is to get the dropout from school, those that drop out, that they could get an easy access whenever they come out to get a job.
Yonet Eastman, owner of Eat to Live, produces a wide range of achars. These include tamarind, mango, golden apple, and gooseberry. She said she is promoting healthy eating through her products.
And most of these products have in cayenne pepper, ginger, turmeric, and basil, because that is good for the body, because I'm promoting Eat to Live. That's my name of my company. And Eat to Live means, well, you got to start eating the right food to live longer.
Reparation is being touted as one of the burning issues that is a stumbling block to the further development of Afro-Guyanese.
That was the focus of the University of Guyana's 6th Conversation on Law and Society. The University of the West Indies Director for the Center for Reparation Research, Professor Vern Shepherd, led the discussion. Professor Shepherd urged those involved in the movement not to let the challenges hinder their progress.
And I say to the women in this audience, I remind the women in the audience, that every single one of you in this country should be an advocate for reparatory justice, because the burden of enslavement fell disproportionately on your female ancestors, like Susanna, Amber, Fatty, and Lucretia from right here in Guyana.
Professor Shepherd also shared why reparation is not to be taken lightly.
The concept of reparation is a part of the theory of justice known as restorative justice. And this concept of justice emphasizes repairing the harm caused or revealed by criminal action. A part of identifying and taking steps to repair harm is to unequivocally acknowledge that wrong was done and to make amends.
President David Granger took the lead in the celebration of Emancipation.
On the eve of Emancipation Day, the head of state was in Betterville celebrating Cultural Night with the 8th of May movement. There, President Granger urged Guyanese to become economically emancipated. Economic emancipation, the president said, is built on 4 pillars, namely education, employment, enterprise, and empowerment.
We have to make poverty history. Just as we've made enslavement history, we have to make poverty history. And it is towards economic emancipation that we must turn our efforts. Every day, life is changing in Guyana, and we must not be left behind. There is out there in the Atlantic a powerful resource that belongs to all of us. It is not for foreigners. It is not for strangers. It's not for outsiders. It's for you, your children, and generations to come.
The president began his Emancipation Day celebrations in Plaisance by attending the church service at the Glory Life Tabernacle. He concluded his Emancipation Day celebrations at a festival held in number 53 Union Village, Quarantine, Berbice. The president reminded residents that villages are the cradle of the nation and is built on the pillars of the home, church, school, and the farm.
Today too, there should be no reason why any young person should be living at a street corner when we have abundant lands in the back dams. These villages produce not only farmers, but artisans, tinsmiths, joiners, carpenters, masons, plumbers. And we must continue to strengthen our villages and make them self-reliant. So, my brothers and sisters, the first message of emancipation, economic emancipation, is education.
The president noted Guyana's future is bright, but cautioned Guyanese will lose the advantage if they allow their villages to denigrate into dormitories.
To celebrate the achievements of Africans, there were several cultural and educational activities in observance of their triumphs by ACDA.
The libation ceremony is usually carried out the night before emancipation. It is a ceremony which is used to recognize divinity and God. Libation, when carried out, is said to invoke the unborn, spirits of the rivers, mountains, and other aspects of life. This spiritual activity was held at the Square of the Revolution. Bishop Andrew Irving of the African Mystical Council gave some details.
What we are doing here tonight in linking consciousness with the African Cultural Development Association as they celebrate their 25th year in doing emancipation and all their African things, community leadership and all such like. We are focusing mainly more so on heroes and heroines of Guyana.
At the ceremony, they honored persons like Tommy Reed, Viola Burnham, and former President Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham.
We do this for them that in turn we will be honored having drawn ashe from them, having drawn that strength and resolve that we too now will fight against tyranny and any other form of oppression that will hinder us from living a good life.
As the event continued, it saw participants in a circle performing the ritual, observing their culture. They shared what it meant to be part of the ceremony.
Well, I'm honored. I get to learn a little more about our ancestors and their legacy.
It's our culture, and we're always supposed to be in the midst of it.
Well, this is a part of activity that I was grew up in, and it's a pleasure to me to worship and honor my ancestors.
In Georgetown, there is usually a big celebration at the National Park with a packed day of activities.
On the morning of August 1, there is a sunrise service in the National Park to ask the ancestors to bless the observance of emancipation. This is usually carried out by the elderly, who are dressed in all white by way of song and prayers. Bishop Brenda Williams of the Guyana United Apostolic Mystical Council explains.
With this intervention, you are laying the foundation for the rest of the day. Remember, we are dealing with African spirituality. And remember that we have, in all of us, there is this point, there is this part of us that is so sacred. And as a consequence, ACDA recognizes that, and they always ask the organization to do this part of it.
Later in the day, persons assembled at various points across the country in observance of this significant day. One of the main celebration points is the National Park. There, patrons enjoyed the luxury of the African culture. It ranged from food, dress, songs, drumming, dance, and beverage. Some of the attendees at the national park shared how they spent the day.
So far I've been having a great time here in the national park. Every year we celebrate Emancipation. It's a wonderful event, and the atmosphere is so fascinating and so I would say ethnically balanced, with everybody coming out together and support this worthy cause. When I say worthy cause, in terms of celebrating and supporting, a celebration of one ethnic group, I would say, but everybody come together as Guyanese, and that's one good thing about the whole celebration.
Everybody look lovely in their African outfit, including my baby.
The outfits, I love to see the fabulous outfits in the different colors and the different races even wearing the different outfit. That excites me a lot.
For Aaliyah Pompey, this year's celebration outshone the previous year.
Well, I find today's activities better than last year because I see more people are involved, which makes me feel much more happier, because now it's more than just another event or another cultural event. It's more than yes, I need to be there. I need to show out. I need to be all in my African print. So it means a lot to me.
I think it's an exciting and good opportunity to learn about other cultures, so that's why I came out today.
This is my first time out, so I'm really enjoying it because of the exposure to the culture and so on. So it's a great experience for me here.
Well, I think it's great. I think it's really building up nicely. More persons out, more prints, people coming out with their ties and so on. It's really beautiful. I'm enjoying it. What is most exciting is the colors and the art, I really love the print and the head wraps and so on. I'm fascinated by that.
John Dowridge and his family were well decked out in their cultural wear, something they look forward to doing every year.
We prepare for this at least every year. I prepare from top to bottom. I make my own footwear, design my own footwear, because every year I prepare for a tight competition. We're Africans descent, so from growing from small, you're able to emancipation. I know what's emancipation, but when you get big in age, then you know what's emancipation.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu also joined the celebrations. The Prime Minister called on Afro-Guyanese not to forget their past, but look towards grasping the opportunities in the coming months. The Prime Minister said the celebration of 180 years of the abolition of enslavement should not only mean freedom, but there must be substance to the freedom achieved.
Guyana now is poised on moving forward, its economy forward. While in the past we had Africans who were brought here as human cargoes, we have to look at how to convert the human cargoes into human capital to help to build the basis, the scientific, technological, educational, cultural basis on which we can move our economy forward, and we can make this country a paradise. You have to show your work. And we have to define the real purpose of our people in Guyana, our various ethnicities, and today, certainly, I say African pride, the assertion of African self-worth and esteem. And this, for me, means a lot for Guyana.
Having just celebrated 180 years of emancipation, we should look to build upon what was done by those who paved the way for us. This has been InfoHub In-Depth. Join us again next time. Goodbye.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.